And before we get into the big interview with the Prime Minister of Dominica and the Grenadian journalist, I made a promise I'm going to keep. Everybody wanted to hear that song again. Remember, the Prime Minister made in this same interview coming up reference to being married and staying in power.
Love is the thing between a woman and a man that we can't understand. Especially when you put the ring on the hand, love is a thing.
And this one called The Marriage Black's Talent.
Just one for you. Yes, it look like this whole marriage over. We love affair going down the drain. Your attitude I can't take no longer. This newlywed started to complain. Yes, you promised and begged me when you wanted wives. So with you I decide I'm gonna share my life. But now you get where you want to start acting so dread. You and see you wanted to get me in bed. Where the little thing you promised me? Yes, where the little thing you promised me? I know you have me waiting patiently. Do for the little thing you promised me. To pay me doctor, to pay me teacher, me servant bill. Yes, I'm waiting still. I know you have me waiting patiently. For the little thing you promised me.
Where's the little thing you promised me?
Hear the woman, hear the woman. Yes, I tell you, I didn't want no husband. Single parent I would be. With all my trials and tribulation, I will raise up my own family. But you rap me down with your sweet tongue. Saying love is better this second time around. I should have never listened to you and your sweet mouth. Where the love you was talking about?
Where's the love? Where's the love?
Where the little thing you promised me? Now where the little thing you promised me? Yes, I know you have me waiting patiently to do for the little thing you promised me. He did for me land, compensation, two flats in the city, so much different library. Now you have me waiting patiently.
Where the little thing you promised me? I want to go back to this little insert we played this morning there with Mr. Skerritt. Mr. Skerritt, what you said?
One government in power for too long, unless the alternative is absolutely a mess, is never really a good thing for democracy. I am told,
Well,
Prime Minister.
well,
Let me ask you.
No, but I want to say, but who taught you that? I mean, the Constitution, people vote, and I'm not sure what people define as too long. If somebody's married for 25 years, they renew the vows. Yeah. People get married. People get 50 years, they renew the vows. They look to 100. I don't know anybody out there who is 25 years old looking to kill himself or to die at 25. Let's be real. I don't, people get a job in the public service at 18 years and they retire at 65. So what is too long? People vote.
Well, I don't
People
know,
exercise their
I don't know if
franchise.
those examples that you give, Prime Minister,
You
can measure
promised
up.
me. Yes, when the little thing you promised me. I know you have me waiting patient.
You have me waiting patiently. Where the little thing you promised me?
You promised me to pay me doctor, to pay me teacher, servant bill. Yes, I'm waiting still. Now you have me waiting patiently.
You promised me.
Love this,
All right, Dominica, in the next few minutes, we'll hear that famous interview. But we'll take a few calls as we continue and, of course, wrap up the song in the afternoon. Hello, talk to me.
yes, I tell you.
Yes.
Mato,
Yes.
I think you're playing that song more for you, because maybe somebody promised you
Well,
something
I
and you don't.
I was never married, so I don't know. So that kind of apply to me, right?
Saying love is better the second time around. I should have never listened to you and your sweet mouth. Where the love you,
On a gel do.
where the little thing you promised me. Now where the little thing you promised me. Yes, I know you have me waiting patiently to do for the little thing you promised me. He did for my land.
The key for my land.
New flats in the city, so much different library. Now you have me waiting patiently. What for the little thing you promised me? Waiting for that. Yes,
Where the little thing you promised me? Hello, are you there, caller?
Yes, madam, yes. Man, no wrong.
You like that? You like that?
One day the weekend have to finally one. No money, no love. We cannot take that one.
Too many
No,
promises. Too many promises.
yeah, you're gonna making confusion in some foreign country fighting for land. Where the little thing you promised me?
The little thing you promised me.
Now where the little thing you promised me? Yes, now you have me waiting patiently.
Hello, talk to me. I want a divorce. Oh,
Mr. Calde,
talk to me. Talk to me.
not for years, I mean, even when we used to say it often, oh, bless you, people saying you hate the Prime Minister. I always say, I pity Scary. You see, Scary think money and guns can protect him. Not is your intelligence in this world of today that is going to save you. Your intelligence, even your intuitive skills. Then you know what's going to Matt and you say, why the going again? When you don't hear what that happened where you was going, you say, boy, my mind it tell me, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
But I listen to Scary, Matt. That's why I refer to it as being quite juvenile and puerile and delinquent. You know, real childish. Like you take your a gold, Matt, diamond, man, and thing, and you go and sell that for a seller for what, $50? Because what you want to go and buy, Matt? Ice cream, biscuit, corn curls. That is where Skerrit is at, you know. And give him a chance, which he did. Take the country billions and think, well, he's smart. Not an engagement like that. It would be easy to just pause. If not allow the lady to step a question properly. No, in his arrogance, man, he pounced on the woman just to open his mouth and speak pure garbage. Not the man is telling you like what he said in St. Martin, till death do us part. Remember the marriage analogy, Matt? So till death do us part. For better or for worse, take what all you get. I am gay, I'm married to you, not divorced. till God come. Zobakasape, not somebody like that needs some serious psychological evaluation. And I've said it so many times, Mark. But people think, well, I just want to beat down and scare it, but not scare it is to the extreme. And something has to be done, my brethren. A whole country cannot die to save one man. It is better that one man die to save a whole country. Thank you.
I'm packing my bag and going out of this home.
I packing my bag now.
I'm sure you I could make it on my own. And when I leave, I'm making sure that you're confused. I can't get to court for wife abuse. When the little thing you promised me.
Hey, you looking for that song? Look for Black Stallion.
Thing you promised me.
The marriage, huh?
I know you have me waiting patiently to do for the little thing you promised me.
Just for the little thing you promised me.
Granny, right land in the country, better transportation to my sister island. Now you have me waiting patiently.
I want a divorce.
You promised me what? Where the little thing you promised me? Now where the little thing you promised me? I know you have me waiting patiently. What's it this? For the little thing you promised from down south. You promised me. Where the little thing you promised me? I know you have me waiting patiently. I promise it's for the little thing you promised me. When you make a promise, keep your promise. You promised me. Now where the little thing you promised me? I know you have me waiting patiently to do. Love you.
All right, Dominica, this is it, sweet. Where the little thing you promised me?
You promised me this, and you promised me that. But everybody knows that there's a whole mouth chat. I promise that I come to a fool. Let me I promise that I come to a fool. Me and a fool, me and a fool, me and a fool. Yes, I promise that I come to a fool.
All right, Dominica, I did promise you that interview that we've been talking about. A list out of Grenada. So I'm going to allow you, if you didn't hear the interview, and we can comment further. Mr. Prime Minister. And of course, we'll have you to react after this. Okay, listen.
Welcome back to The Narrative. I'm your storyteller, Callistra Faria. The Dominica Parliament passing electoral reform legislation, which does not make all sides happy. The opposition has been clamoring for electoral reform, but when a bill did go through Parliament, they took objection to some of it, saying that the bill did not go quite far enough. A protest erupted in Dominica last week over the situation. The police were called in, and we saw some very violent images coming out of Dominica. Joining me now on the program is Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica to talk to me about the key points of the bill and also the protest, which we all viewed that was happening in this country a few days ago. Prime Minister, finally, welcome to The Narrative. I finally got you here.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm so happy to be finally on with you. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. So, electoral reform, it's finally happened, but some people are very displeased with the bill, or at least elements of the bill. Let's start with outlining the key objectives of the electoral reform bill and how it aims to strengthen Dominica's democratic process.
Well, I think we want to put this in context. As you know, we've been talking about electoral reform since 2013. We went to Parliament with a comprehensive set of legislation in 2017, May of 2017, and there was a protest action outside the Parliament. The security barrier of the police in 2017 was breached, and the protesters almost got into the Parliament. And I decided then to stand down the passage of the legislation, which would have brought in national ID cards. It would have brought in a confirmation exercise, which would clear the clean the voters list of persons who should not be on the voters list. When we fast forward to this, we engaged Sir Dennis Barron in 2020 to assist us in seeing that we couldn't get common ground among the political actors in Dominica. So Dennis made some recommendations, and we engaged ourselves in a comprehensive set of national consultations carried live on all medium. We engaged political parties, civil society, individuals, and at the end of the day, we came up with what we believe would have been a consensus document. Some of the things that are included in the legislation are voter ID cards, mandatory voter ID cards. Secondly, the issue of cleansing the voters list by way of confirmation. So you would have to present yourself to the Electoral Commission with a government issue ID and to indicate to them who you are, and they would confirm you will be on the list. This in itself would allow for cleansing of the voters list, because a lot of the people who they say are dead or on the voters list would have been removed from the voters list by virtue of that process. Then the issue of Dominicans living overseas. Now, our laws, our constitution doesn't allow the government or the parliament to remove anybody from this list by way of, except if you're dead. And so the original recommendation was to send the Electoral Commission to countries and cities where there are large concentrations of Dominicans to get them confirmed. We were following essentially the St. Kitts model some years ago. The opposition objected to that. We in the Labour Party in the government were very strong on this. Eventually, we decided to give in on that. So the legislation allows for anyone who wants to get confirmed wouldn't have to travel to Dominica and present his or herself to the Electoral Commission for confirmation. So you have this. Then you also have very comprehensive amendments to the laws relating to the Electoral Commission, where greater powers and autonomy are given to the Electoral Commission in this of its mandate. So they're very comprehensive piece of legislation on this. And the whole idea of ensuring that we improve transparency and the conduct of our elections, mindful that we have always had free and fair elections in Dominica, mindful that every political party who has won elections in Dominica, and every individual who has won election in Dominica has always done so freely without fear at all. But in everything, there are times when you have to improve on the systems. Laws have to be amended. Systems have to be improved. There are international best practices that one has to follow. And this is what we sought to do, and this is what we did in Dominica. All of this, we sought the advice of the OAS. We sought the advice of the Commonwealth, who reviewed the legislation for us and who were satisfied that they were meeting some of the desired objectives of the reform that we were proposing. And during the consultation process, we had the presence of the OECS, CARICOM, and the OS, and the Commonwealth witnessing the consultations across the country. And so there are things in the legislation which I personally didn't agree to. But in the process of advancing the systems, you give and take. And one has to understand that legislation is just something that can be perfect. We will not always have everything that we want in it or should be in it. But I would believe that the legislation which went to the Parliament and approved unanimously by the Parliament, because one has to differentiate, my friend, between the opposition, the parliamentary opposition, and pressure groups outside of the Parliament. Everyone who sat in Parliament on the 19th of March 2025 voted in favor of the legislation. They spoke freely, they spoke uninterrupted during the debate. They share concerns about what they like and what they do not like in the legislation, and that's what we do. As Prime Minister, sometimes I stand in Parliament and say what I do not like, what the government is doing or what the government should be doing. That's part of democracy. But at the end of the day, everyone voted, and interestingly, that the two members of the opposition spoke, or the opposition spoke, elected, and you also had the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, whose party was outside of the Parliament protesting, but he sat in the Parliament and voted in favor of the legislation. I heard excuses by the leader of his party why he did this, and he's new to parliament. You've been sitting in parliament for 2.5 years. You can't be new. You ought to know the rules. You know what voting is. I do not know how a grown man sitting in parliament doesn't know the difference between yes and no. And to say that
I think what they were saying, Prime Minister Scott, is that he thought the bill, which was a bit confusing for me as well when I got the explanation, but that he thought the bill was being presented in parts and he would get the opportunity to vote no on those aspects of the bill that himself and his party were in disagreement with.
No, but he's wrong, and the explanation you got is wrong. I saw Dr. Fountain on your program, and he gave you false information. Every bill was taken independent of each other. So if you go to the records of the parliament on Wednesday, the Attorney General is the one who presented the bills on behalf of the government. The Attorney General presented 3 separate bills. The first bill, which is the real bill where the contention resides, where the opposition was seeking to stop, was the House of Assembly elections bill. So this is where the registration of electors bill they wanted to stop, but this is the bill they voted on. This is the bill where the contention reside, and this is the bill which was voted on. And so the free bills were not taken all at once, and the free bills were not voted on all at once. In the parliament, in our parliamentary democracy, you can vote by the ayes have it, or you can ask for division. The Minister of National Security asked for division on one of the bills. And it is in this bill, which was debated, that has to do with the registration of electors bill. This is where the contention resides. And this is the bill which the deputy leader of the United Party voted on. So the explanation which you got is really wrong. There was not a vote on all 3 bills. No. There was a vote on one bill. The 2 others were passed by the ayes have it, meaning there was not a division was not requested, and therefore there was not an individual vote. Okay, so they're completely wrong on this, and the member had an opportunity, if he wished to state his individual vote by rather than saying ayes have it. And even when the speaker asked those in favor, there was no opposition. There was no opposition to the 2 other bills which were passed by way of a request by the speaker. So even when the 2 other bills came in, that member and the members of the opposition could have said no and could have made a loud no to overcome the ayes or the yes of the government, which is usual practice in our parliamentary democracy. But there was complete silence, and they had an opportunity to object. They had an opportunity to ask for division, which they did not ask for division. They supported it. And when you read the explanation given by that member, the senator, the deputy leader of the political party, he said to his party people who were calling for his resignation that he felt that there were some good things in the bill. That is that they have been there. That is to say, the United Party have been asking for years, and he feels that we should go ahead with those bills because they have made good progress in achieving the objective of electoral reform.
But Prime Minister, one thing that was missing from the bill, though, according to the opposition, and you was they strongly criticized the bill for not addressing campaign financing. Why was this issue excluded? Was it excluded?
Well,
and do you see a future commitment to legislating campaign financing reforms in Dominica?
Sure. Now, at no time during the entire discussion on electoral reform, the issue of campaign refinancing was on the agenda. When Sir Dennis made his report, he recommended that we should look at campaign finance. So that was never on the agenda. We have said, and I have said on behalf of the government, that from an aspirational standpoint, yes, we can and we could give consideration to electoral reform, to campaign financing. But that is a highly technical piece of legislation, which would unduly delay the implementation of other far-reaching positive movements towards the modernization of electoral process. As a matter of fact, I had even raised that issue at the CARICOM level. And there was a suggestion among colleagues that we may want to look at this from a regional standpoint because there's no OECS country that has campaign finance legislation. And outside of Jamaica and Barbados, which is loosely implemented, there's no campaign finance legislation in the Caribbean. Okay? And so we felt like we needed more time to look at this technical document. And because you're not going to pass a legislation because you want to pass it and sound good, and it's not going to be properly implemented. And interestingly, one has to understand, sometimes political parties ask for things that when they get it, they don't want it. This draft legislation you're talking about, the campaign finance legislation, would have a negative impact on smaller political parties, When you really look at it objectively, and setting aside your personal motives. So we're not opposed to campaign finance reform. What we're saying is that this requires way more time to give consideration to, because it wasn't originally part of the consideration. But as you may be following politics in Dominica, my friend, the opposition in Dominica, they ask for something, right? If they believe that I am for it, then they will go against it. If they believe I'm against it, then they'll ask for it. So classic case in point, they said they want Dominicans living overseas to come to Dominica to get confirmed. We give it to them. They're not in support of it at all, no. So they ask for some things, and when you give it to them, they're not in support of it. So we're not opposed to this. I think these guys are looking for a red herring. What they wanted was for the issue of electoral reform to remain an issue in Dominica, so that they can use this against a government. Now, a government that has been in office for quite a considerable amount of time uninterrupted, it is easy to use the issue of campaign reform, electoral reform, and government not being transparent and so on to cause there to be a perception that elections are not conducted free and fair in Dominica, which is not true. So they wanted this because elections are due by the end of 2027 constitutionally, the date, and this is like the calendar date. You're going to need about 12 to 15 months to effect the reform agenda. So what they would like to do is to delay the process until 2027, and you will have enough time. And you know what they will say? Oh, Scary doesn't want electoral reform. And when I say, but you guys were protesting, you wanted to storm the parliament, and I wanted peace. Then they would say to me, as it said in 2017, but you are the majority. You have 19 or 21 seats. What would stop you to pass it in Parliament? We don't sit in Parliament. You sit in Parliament. And so I believe that what we implemented in Dominica was far-reaching, is comprehensive, and I dare say it is legislation that other countries in the Caribbean should look at with a view to having it even as uniform legislation within the OECS and the wider Caribbean. It's far-reaching legislation, I dare say. But what this opposition people wanted to do in Dominica, at least the opposition outside of Parliament, is to give Dominica, is to stay in Dominica's name, to give the people out there the impression who do not know the background and the context of what we're debating in Dominica, the impression that this place is unsafe, that there is mayhem in Dominica, and there's chaos. Because they have been looking for years for the police to overreact and for the police to kill someone on the streets of Dominica and to use that and to parade Dominica in the international and regional arena.
Do you feel, Prime Minister, that the police, because I was looking at some of the video, and of course, looking at video is different from when you're on the ground. Had I known things would erupt, I'd probably fly to Dominica, but I was looking from here. Do you feel like the police overreacted, though? What is your reaction to the visuals that we saw of your police engaging with the protesters?
Well, I mean, my friend, I can tell you from where I sit, the police exercised tremendous patience and tolerance. The police never acted until the protesters acted. The protest was illegal because they never sought permission. The police set this aside. You protested and you're allowed to protest, and even if they don't get permission, once they are peaceful and they go about not interrupting daily work and what have you and so forth, it's fine. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think when the law says you need it, but I'm not going to hold somebody against someone for not having permission. But the police exercised tremendous patience. The protesters tried to breach the police barrier. And if you know Dominican, you know where they were protesting, close to the Fortune Hotel. It is right next to the official residence and offices of the President of Dominica. The parliament boundaries the residence of the president. There were protesters who were seeking to breach the perimeter wall of the president's residence with a view to going from there and into the parliament, because their intention was to go to the parliament to stop the parliament. Okay, to stop the passage of the bill. The only way you can stop the passage of a bill is by storming the parliament and disrupting it, taking the mace away, and not having the parliament proceed. That was their intention. It was not to protest and to make noise and to do what you do outside the
Was
parliament.
that a stated intention?
That was a stated intention. That was a stated intention. And if you look at the videos, there were people encouraging them to breach the barriers and let's go inside. Let's go inside. And if we would have seen some videos also where rocks were being offloaded from vehicles. Rocks. Right? And rocks started to be, rocks and missiles were being thrown at the police. And this is when the police started, as far as I was told, the police reacted. But interestingly, protesters did not get injured. The police got injured. The police didn't get injured. Nobody was sent to the hospital. So at the end of the day, one cannot say the police overreacted. The police had to maintain law and order, and so forth. I also saw, I believe, on your program and maybe on another program where it was said that I brought in the RSS. The RSS was never in Dominica. We placed the RSS on standby based on the previous actions of the opposition when their protests descended into chaos and destruction. As a matter of fact, there was one year, I believe in 2017 or thereabout, where they set fire to several businesses owned by government supporters in the city. And so, knowing of their intentions, we placed the RSS on standby. But the police was able to manage the situation, and there was no need to bring the RSS in. So at no time was the RSS in Dominica and part of the security apparatus.
Was there a previous occasion when the RSS was brought in?
The RSS was brought in 2019.
Yes, because I got the impression at the time that is what was being referred to. I do recall the reference being made. I believe it was on my program, but it seemed that referred to.
No, I think they were referring to last week. They were referring to last week that the RSS was in Dominica, but the RSS wasn't in Dominica. Even in their letter to Prime Minister Mayor, what is the chairperson of CARICOM, they referenced that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Now, with ongoing opposition to the bill, the opposition outside of the House, as you said, because this bill was voted on unanimously in your Parliament on the 19th. Are you open to further amendments? Because you said there were some aspects of the bill that you yourself did not like. It would be interesting to find out what those are as well, Prime Minister. But are you open to any more further amendments, or do you consider the matter to be settled?
Those I didn't like are those that I give up on. So I give up my ground on. So, for example, we were very firm on having a national ID card because we felt like it is better to spend money on a national ID card that you can use to travel in the OECS as a single space. You could use for other activities. And if somebody has a card that they have multiple uses for, it is more likely that they will keep it in a safe place rather than a card that you use once every 5 years. And so we're arguing for a national ID card. The opposition was demanding a voter ID card, and we gave this up. Okay? We gave this up. And we decided to go the route of a voter ID card. And there are other issues. But of course, I mean, I mean, you pass legislation. This is why even after you would have gone through the process of debate, you go to a committee stage. Even at the committee stage, you make changes to the legislation. And so, if tomorrow morning that there are things that were overlooked and it needed to be changed, then certainly. But our view is that the legislation which we went to which we took to Parliament were comprehensive in nature. They address the issues that were of concern to the country, and will cure whatever issues people identify within the process, and would enhance the electoral system, the transparency of the system, and a greater accountability. So I believe we have better laws in Dominica now, today, than we had on the 18th of March. Very comprehensive in nature, very progressive in nature, and laws which meet international best practices. And we allow the Commonwealth and the OAS to review those laws, those bills, and they're all satisfied that they meet international best practice. And so if tomorrow morning, next year, whatever it is, we believe that there's some amendments to be made, sure, that's what Parliament is there for. No, so we're open to this, but one cannot say that we have not met the objectives. And if the opposition was honest with themselves and honest with the population, they would articulate these things. But just to tell you, my friend, we have to sometimes we need to go back to history, sometimes contemporary history. After the 2017, when we made some changes to the laws that went to the Parliament, the then leader of the opposition, Lennox Linton, proclaimed that the government made changes to the laws and that was to the effect that he's satisfied with them. He's satisfied with them. And this is what it is. So these guys, they will change their position because at the end of the day, they really did not want or do not want the legislation to pass. And that's the truth in Dominica. And I can tell you, I am 100% for the electoral reform. And I'm so happy because we wanted to ensure that the commitment we gave to our citizens, the commitment we gave to our international partners, that remain true to our word. In Dominica's leadership, we don't play games. If we tell you something, we keep to it. Well, what I say to you at night, that's what I say to you at day. And we were very, very committed to electoral reform. And I'm happy that finally we were able to go to Parliament and pass the law. And I'm even happier that we got it unanimously passed, with everybody having all the faculties in place. There was no drunk person in Parliament. There was no person who voted under duress. And you go to the videos of the Parliament, and you see that.
You can't say that for sure. You can say that for sure, Prime Minister, that there were no drunk people in the Parliament. You cannot say that.
Well, I can say that for sure. There were no drunk persons sitting in the Parliament voting.
But you were not there.
I can say that for sure.
Were you at that session?
I know I wasn't there. I followed intently. I saw everything happening in Parliament. It's carried live, so I could follow. And if you look at when the deputy leader of the United Party supported, I mean, he said so emphatically, as though you could see that he was so excited to vote yes, because he was very happy about it. And it may be good to show on your program or others a video of him voting. So nobody can give an excuse. The problem we have in opposition in Dominica is that Thompson Fountain is a very weak leader. Very, very weak leader. And there are two factions or three factions within the Workers' Party. One led by Thompson Fountain and one led by Lennox Linton. And what Mr. Fountain is seeking to do is to curry favor with the extreme arm of the United Workers' Party led by Lennox Linton. And unfortunately, Dr. Fountain has been led a very dangerous tunnel. And this is why they will remain in opposition for a very long time to come, because they're just not connecting the Dominican people.
One government in power for too long, unless the alternative is absolutely a mess, is never really a good thing for democracy. I am told, Prime Minister. But let me ask you.
No, but I want to answer. But who taught you that? I mean, the Constitution, people vote, and I'm not sure what people define as too long. If somebody's married for 25 years, they renew the vows. Yeah. People get married. People get 50 years, they renew the vows. They look to 100. I don't know anybody out there who is 25 years old looking to kill himself or to die at 25. Let's be real. I don't. People get a job in the public service at 18 years and they retire at 65. So what is too long? People
Well,
vote.
I don't
People
know
exercise their
I
prime
don't know if
size.
those examples that you give, Prime Minister, can measure up.
Well,
But
why?
let's move on to. There's a question that I want to ask you about the claim that the opposition
Okay.
continues to make, that the Dominica Labour Party, when elections roll around, you can afford, because you have unlimited war chest for campaigning, they say, is able to plane people in that tips the scale way in your favor. I know that political leader Fontaine on my program talked about some margins of victory, which didn't ring true to me, though, in terms of by how much they lost the seats. At the time, I didn't challenge it because I could not recall the numbers in that particular instance. But the essence of this is that they're saying that you're bringing people into Dominica much more than they can afford to bring in. And that is causing the integrity of the elections to be interfered with. How do you respond?
Well, this is not true at all. I mean, money don't win elections. People who know me, my friend, I work extremely hard. I engage myself in retail politics. I go to the communities, I do house to house, I engage people at various levels and so forth. And I have always practiced a policy and a program of putting people first. For me, politics is about people. These guys, politics is about looking for a job. For me, politics is about people. And this is what my party has espoused. And this is why I always keep my party to ensure that their ears are down on the ground and they stay among the people. And I will chastise any parliament, any minister, publicly and privately, who will not stay close to the people who voted for them. This notion about the Labour Party having more money than any political party or having the means, that's not necessarily true. The difference between me and these guys in the opposition, Thompson, Fountain, and others, is that when they get money for campaign, they keep it for themselves. When I get money for campaign, I spend it because it was raised for that purpose. There's a difference between them. But and the notion about
On what
bringing
basis
people from
do you say that, Prime Minister, that when that campaign funds meant for the party are kept for themselves?
Because I
What does
know
that mean?
because I know benefactors who have said that to us, and they don't spend the money on what they raise it for. You hear them raise the money on radio programs that their own supporters asking them for accountability. They can't account for the money that they raise on the radio programs. Their own supporters are asking. They go on Facebook, go and listen to the radio programs. People are asking, I gave money, where's the account of it? Even for the last protest, they raised money to pay the buses, to bring into down to the city. People are asking, look, you raise money, how did you spend the money for on March 19th? The point about it is,
well, failing to give account does not equate to using it for themselves, though.
Well, that's what people who gave the money are saying, and we see it evident there. People believe that money.
But that's hearsay and third-party conversation, Prime Minister.
You've had in the Caribbean political parties who in government who have lost elections. Trump, Donald Trump won. Kamala Harris spent $1.5 billion in 100 days, and she lost. So money don't make you win an election. Their governments have been sitting in governments for many years, and somebody comes along and wins. Look what happened in Grenada. Nobody thought that Dickon Mitchell would have won the election as an unknown in the politics, compared to Dr. Mitchell, who has been there for a long time and a formidable political character in not only in Grenada but the Caribbean. They got beaten. So money don't make you win elections. What makes you win elections is your connection to the people, and this is where the United goes. I'm not advising.
Do you import voters? Does that happen? Does the DLP pay airfare for people to come to vote?
Every political party in Dominica has engaged in that practice. This is
Does
part
the DLP do that, sir?
Yeah, of course we do. Yes, I'm saying every political party, the DLP is a party. I was part of the Freedom Party in back in the days. The Freedom Party brought people in. I know the Nayokas Party brought people in, for a fact. And I know for a fact that the Labour Party has brought people in. So the notion that they're trying to give that only party that has done so or is doing so is Dominica Labour Party is a false narrative. and they should not come with a narrative and have a false narrative.
So when Dr. Fontaine came on my
so-
program and said we would, because I challenged him and I said, is it because you can't afford to do it that you have an issue with it? And he says, oh, well, even if we had the money, we would never do that.
That is not true. But Dr. Fountain got elected as the opposition, as a leader of the United Party, while working in Sudan. He wasn't resident in Dominica when he got elected as the party leader. The Workers' Party has had a
Does the
candidate.
Dominica Constitution recognize political parties?
No, but look at the principle of it. If you're saying that you're not so vote in Dominica, well, how do you end up being a leader of a party if you reside overseas? In the 2014 election or 2019 election, they had a candidate from a league resident and working in Antigua who took leave from work, came down to contest the election for the Workers' Party. She lost, and the next day she went back to her job in Antigua. So let us not let these people come on your programs in the region and lie to the people. Every political party has done so. And in our case, in large measure, it's a natural thing for people to come. The majority of people who come on our behalf, we don't mobilize them, they come on their own. And in many of the constituencies in Dominica, there are no overseas people coming. I don't bring any overseas people to vote in my constituency, neither in Portsmouth or Cottage or Collio or Mao or Granby or Pitt Savan or Roseau Central, where my wife runs. People don't come to vote. Carnival territory. So the reality is, the Labour Party has the majority support in Dominica, and this is how we win elections. And the margins are very much comfortable margins. So when I hear him say we won by 100 something votes, 5 or 6 seats, this is not true at all.
No.
So every political party, my friend, brings people in to vote. Every political party has done so and continues to do so.
If you had to speak to the people of Dominica through the narrative right now to ensure and to assure them that there is transparency and to ensure that there's public confidence in the electoral process, I give you the opportunity now to say so, Prime Minister.
Well, I don't have to speak to Dominican people about this. They know that. They see it. You go to a polling station on election day in Dominica. Every candidate has the right to have an agent inside the polling station, inside. And every voter needs to declare his name openly so that into the full hearing of the agents. The agents have an opportunity to object to anybody voting. They may not prevent you from voting, but you can object to having them voting.
Yeah.
And in a village in Dominica, everybody knows everybody, and you will have an agent that knows everybody who is coming to vote, at least in large measure. So we've always had free and fair elections in Dominica. But how could it be that a political party contests an election, the seats that they win during that election, they consider to be free and fair, but the seats in the same election that the government or the other party wins are not free and fair? How do you explain this? The same system, the same laws, same community, but you win 4 or 5 seats, great, we won. The other party wins 15, 18 seats, they stole elections. Cannot be. And every election I have contested as Prime Minister from 2005 have been challenged in the courts, and the courts have even adjudicated. So not only have people demonstrated their franchise and support for the Labour Party in the majority, but the courts have also looked at evidence presented to it by the opposition and declared the elections to be free and fair and within the laws of Dominica. So I can say to you, I can say to the region, because Dominicans know, because if the majority of Dominicans were opposed to the legislation of the Parliament, spending 3 weeks mobilizing people and you only end up having 140, 150 people on the streets couldn't be that the others are not in support or in support of your actions. Right? Why didn't you have 5,000 people on the streets, or 8,000, or even 1,000? You had 150. after you paid bus fares for everybody, you provide them with meals, okay, and you had 3-4 weeks of mobilization. You raised monies or $6 million monies to mobilize people, and only 140 people showed up. So the majority of Dominicans are in support of the legislation, and I can say to you that we've always had free and fair elections in Dominica. I don't know how one can steal an election in Dominica. I don't know this to be a practice.
The election is only stolen when you lose.
That's what it is.
Prime Minister,
And then we were in opposition for 25 years as a Labour Party, and we took our blows, and we regrouped, and we're here today as a formidable political movement.
with a complaint here and there of the elections being stolen.
But we've never complained. We've never complained in opposition of elections being stolen. Never.
Prime Minister, about 2 years ago or so, when you won again, I was on a program with you where you were being interviewed, and you said that this was going to be a halfway sort of thing. You weren't going the full 5 years. You're halfway there. What's happening next? What's happening next with Roosevelt Scarrett as
Boy,
Prime Minister of Dominica?
yes. I asked myself a question. I asked myself the same question all the time.
Let's answer it today.
Yeah. Yes. The party has asked me to whenever I'm asked a question that I should refer that question to the executive of the party. So I will defer the answer to the president of the Democratic Labour Party, Ambassador Nanton. But we'll see how things go. I have a commitment to the country and a commitment to my party, and of course a commitment to myself. I have sacrificed and made my entire adult life, at the service of the people. And it's been a good run. It continues to be a good run. And at some point, like everything else, one has to make a determination of what is life going to be for him for the next years. So when that time comes, then certainly I will make a definitive position on it. But for the time being, I'm the leader of the party. I was reappointed at our conference in November of 2024, and at this stage we're taking one day at a time through Jesus, and we'll see how it goes.
So it appears that the position which you held was that you would transition midterm is no longer set in well, it appeared to be set in stone when you spoke before, but it's now on shifting sand.
Well, I won't say shifting sand or set in stone either, but it's a matter that's under constant review. As it is now, my commitment is unwavering to the party and to the country, and at the appropriate time, those final decisions will be made. But for the time being, I'm focusing on so many critical public sector investment projects we're working on: International Airport, the Marina, the geothermal, our continued efforts towards housing the nation, significant public infrastructure works. And so we are focusing on getting those implemented and to help grow and expand the economy of Dominica and to create more sustainable jobs for the young people of our country. And we're well on track for this. And so we are focusing on some things now, and at the appropriate time we'll focus on individual circumstance and situations. But now we're looking at the greater good of the country and of course the greater good of the Labour Party.
Okay, Prime Minister, I want to thank you so much for joining me on The Narrative. I look forward to having you back so that we can go a bit more in depth on Dominica's economy and what's happening there. I know you have this remarkable housing program that you're doing for your people. So to talk a bit more about that and how does Dominica do it? Free housing and housing at that level, that quality and so on. And to talk a bit more about what's going on in Dominica outside of electoral reform. I look forward to having you back. Don't be a stranger now that you're here.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, Dominic, you heard the Prime Minister. Now, I was trying to reach Mr. Fontaine because, of course, the Prime Minister made some serious allegations as it relates to accountability. So, Mr. President, Mr. Fontaine, we need these questions, these accusations dealt with immediately, like somebody was indicating to me, like the $9 billion out there for the CBI. Accountability is key all the time. Now, sometime later in the program, I'll try to see if I can do a little repeat there of Mr. Thompson Fontaine when he spoke to a Vincentian journalist. If we got the time, or we might have to postpone until tomorrow. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Matt, well, I heard all his allegations, and I know, it's always one-sided. It's Garrett. Garrett always has his opinion, and he believes his opinion is always the right one. But the question I have for Mr. Garrett is that, how is it he was so adamant about not having campaign legislation reform? That is the question. That is the area. He talked about everybody engages in it, but the question is, where does the Labour Party get that money from? That kind of money to be able to pay tickets for people to bring them to Dominica to vote, because he had already admitted to that. Where does Labour Party get that money from? That is the question.
The last time somebody asked him that question, you know what his response was, right?
Yes, go to hell 3 times and it's not your damn business. But that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Is he happy? And he said he was happy, yes, because we did not get that part of the reformation done. That is the thing. Anyway, enough said.
Thank you. More telephone calls, 449-3095. Hello, yes. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Matt. I've been waiting for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
A small experience. This morning, I went to read my Bible. And while I read my Bible, the Lord lead me to 1 Timothy chapter 1. And I studied the life of Paul of Tarsus. And in verse 15, you were saying, Paul was he was a blasphemous person. He was a person that insolent, and he was ignorant. So I took my dictionary to find the words, what they mean. And I found out that if somebody is ignorant, they are unwise. And there are many different things he gives to it. So if you're unwise, you make bad decisions, you think wrong everything about it. I look for arrogant. I found out that arrogant is you're haughty, you're full of pride. So I put various little pieces together and come to see where this comes to government. So here it teaches me, the Bible teaches me, when somebody have this quality, that's their behavior. You understand? You are insolent, you are a blasphemer, ignorant. And ignorant is a bad thing, because when you're ignorant, you do a lot of unwise things. And I made a lot of research, and I came to that conclusion. When you think that you have the answer, people tell you things you believe, you don't seek God to find an answer from God. And Sunday, you get yourself in trouble. And eventually, Paul had to suffer. God tell him, you see, with all what you do, all the hurt people what you do, you're going to pay for that. And all what you do them, that is going to have to. But nevertheless, God helped him, and he said that I am the chief of the sin. You understand? And God came to save him. So we have to be careful of every time making decisions, saying things and this and then and thing. And I found out it has a part of dictatorship in it. So when you go on like that, you don't listen to people, you don't read the Bible, you don't take time for God to seek God on your behalf. Because all in the Bible, people seek God before they do any movement. That is it. I still want to thank the young man who made his contribution, but I always say he came in a basis where he saw things that was good, he could have used there and so on there. And there is another word in the Bible that said, evil communication corrupt good manners.
Well, I hope you have some time to speak directly to the big man, because I suspect you send a lot of messages to him. So speak to him directly, okay? Because I know you, of course, profess and you are a Christian, so you can speak directly a lot of times to him. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, good afternoon.
Matt, that lady sure know how to handle Skerrit and how to interview him.
That's why I told you she should speak to him directly.
No, I talking about the person, what's her name, the Vincentian lady that was interviewing
Oh, okay,
Skerrit.
that's what you're talking about. Okay.
That lady, maybe take the lady for you, but the lady know to talk to him. So he could mama tell the lady, maybe if he would try to
He'll never, Mama, to you'll never come here and speak to me face to
do
face.
that. Yeah, he would know to spin you, but he couldn't spin that lady. She knew how to handle him. And I right about now, I think it's time Melissa take her children and run away from Mr. because Mr. really is starting to show signs of madness.
Blah, 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 blah. How can you advise the man's wife to go away from him? Do you think? Anyway, that's for Melissa to decide. But you don't think you're out of place to say that? 449-3095-96 and 97. 449-3095 blue. All right. Be easy. Go easy. Go easy. On the telephone, how to talk to me? Yes, one-on-one. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
How are you?
There are many comments to be made, but one that is so blatant, I can't understand. I would like him to explain to us. 150 people attended a demonstration. 150 people attended a demonstration. And so far, you have arrested about 15 of them out of that 150. Makes no sense to me. But I will leave Roosevelt Skerrit to Lennox Linton. Lennox Linton will take care of that and will take care of him. He's afraid of Lennox. Don't send Fountain. Fountain can handle it. But I rather send Lennox to answer him. Okay, Matt, thank you very much.
No. Well, Skerrit said to ask Nanton the question. Well, I asked him the question the last time, and he said, you have to ask that question to the executive, huh? So they will decide. The Labour Party will decide. So that question has been asked on a few occasions. Maybe the last news conference, it was asked again. I don't know why Blue would think I cannot ask Skerrit that question. 449-3095-96 and 97, Maybe you should pay more attention to some of the interviews, huh? Blue? On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon to you, Matt, quickly.
How are you doing, my brother? How are you doing? Yes.
Not bad. You know, Matt, it's interesting. At the beginning of the interview, you heard the lady ask the lady was saying, finally. Finally. You know that
she has asked him before.
To get him on, and he has been docking her.
She's been asking.
He has been docking her. Like for sure, I established that for sure. That's one.
You're right. She's
Number
been
two,
asking, yes.
Mr. Skerrit always says that he made a point with respect to when matters go to court, that the court always adjudicate on whose behalf. Because Mad Rosa Central has never had its day in court. We've made our petition.
And he also said at the end there, just to stay tuned, so he also said that as it relates to Rosa Central, they don't bring in any voters, That's
madness, man. That's madness. Again, what had to happen is that once the matter had been ventilated to the court, then the court would have known. We never we were never given the time and opportunity to bring in our evidence. What they do, they fraud the matter even before it reaches the court. So if a matter is not ventilated through the court, how can you say that the matter was educated upon? So I mean, so many untruths, man. I just don't want to take the time. But note that the lady has been trying to catch him all the time, and he has been docking the lady. This one he couldn't dock. And I can tell you, man, she has more questions for him because she knows that he's lying. She knows that he's lying. But I will leave for other callers too.
Another question I want, and of course you're a senior member of the party. He spoke about accountability, and I want the leadership of the party to speak to that, huh? So.
Well, I know you get the upper echelon of the party to talk on that, but as a member of the management committee, Matt, when you're talking about accountability, it's not just a few questions. You'll be talking to about everybody. I've known it to myself, people who sent money or make contributions through me, Glenroy Soso Coffee. I always receive the money. I go by wherever they send the money. I make an electronic copy of it.
That's true.
I send them what I collected, and I send them what I give. So what I collected matches what I give, and so my case is clear. And I suspect that has been happening across the board. And if persons feel that, they're giving people money they're not accounting for, I would urge everyone when they are given money to make sure that people get their receipts. But the point is, you cannot make a statement like that and cannot prove it and say people are taking money. That is why she held him. The mere fact that you do not count doesn't mean that he stole the money.
True.
And
that's making some wild statements there.
Yeah, exactly. Wild statements and allegations, and probably some things that could implicate people. I mean, you could say that. And I mean, like anything else, we just carry this grabbing at straws, and he's just trying to justify why he should bring in people. They should next ask him now, when you say you admit that you bringing people in, and last 2019 elections, what 19 planes were doing on the tarmac, and where do you get this kind of money to bring all that people? So drive him. He knows what he's saying, and he's just trying to navigate. But I think she handled that interview well. I just suspect she didn't want to interrupt the Prime Minister too much, and she just wanted him to just go and just bury him there. And I think that's what he did in this interview. And we need more interviews as such, because when he speaks and he's fighting to get in front and to get a handle of it, he always blunders, and that's why he lies his way through. So he never tells the truth. And so I believe this interview has made the declaration that we have a Prime Minister who is a stranger to the truth, man.
All right. Thank you very much. So thank you as always. The thing is, Skerrit lies way better than Fontaine. So he will always appear to be truthful to those who don't know him. I still find the interview did not ask the key and pertinent questions about the importance of voters. Aaron said politics as the politicians or politics. You don't always have to be truthful. That's what Aaron said a couple of years ago. But when you do interviews, I've been doing that for many years. Always there's somebody out there that always say, "Well, you didn't ask that question. You didn't ask that question." You can't ask every question, eh? But I think it was a very good interview done there by this young lady, that lady from Grenada. Hello, talk to me. Yes, 449. And of course, she doesn't know all the facts. Hello, yes? You cannot really accuse her. Hello, yes?
Yeah, Mr. Peltier, when a man keep running from the truth, he must run out of lies, So then he don't know what to say. And you keep running from the truth, you will run out of lies. You can't lie again, so you just have to implicate yourself. Did I hear you say Skerrit, Matt? Most of the times is when you're highlighting what was said, the different clips, they call them, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing. I used to listen to that man religiously. But I noticed Skerrit is a contagious disease. And it is quite transmissible. And I'll be transmitting all the garbage I hear. Oh, what did Skerrit say? And I'll be telling people. I said, you know something? I stopped listening to Skerrit. When I'm playing, I hear him. Did I hear you say the man talk about Blue WP and accountability, Matt?
Yes, he did. He did.
I tell you.
He said people always complaining that, they're not getting an account of their monies. So that's what I'm telling you. That you can basically compare to the $8 billion people have been asking for. Where's the accountability of that?
Well, they say all sin is cinema. When I commit a big sin or a small sin. Why, Matt? Let me tell you something. People, they take it scary for joke, Matt. Melissa, not to divorce, not to run. Because if we can remain in the marriage, you need to remain there too. Matt, I am saying, what is happening in Dominica? Matt, whoever is advising Roosevelt Skerrit, they are looking to destroy him. Or that person is an idiot or persons. Could it be Blackmore? Could it be the Lawrences? Could it be Tony? Did the world police, Interpol or the CIA, whoever they are, tell people to advise Skerrit to end up deeper in his pit, Matt?
I don't know.
Because I'm listening to the brother, Matt, and I'm saying if you have advisors that is advising him correctly, could it be that he's forgetting? Does he take some notes? If he depending on his mental notes, then he might just come then trying to be spontaneous and make an A of himself. So I'm just saying, it's either somebody is deliberately trying to destroy Skerrit, or they are under the command of Interpol or the CIA. Somebody tell them, talk him into his own grave. Give him advice, because based on who you are, could it be Peter Wickham's and Hatley Henry and them? And Matt, I say nothing on Mia Motley and the rights of people and the responsibility. You take note of that, no, Matt?
I did. We'll have time.
The same Mia Motley that are there facilitating, and look at how Skerrit is so deceptive. Well, wasn't it said that the RSS was on standby, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did not come because there was no need to come, because there was nothing. It was the police who created the chaos and the violence and the lawlessness. So guess what? Right now, you're arresting people for what? Why didn't you need the RSS? Now it's 100 and something people. Maybe we need the RSS to help to arrest people. Maybe that is why they can't come for me, but they run out of manpower, man. I will bless this, sir.
Well, I tell you, I just got some news there from one of the lawyers that they have 3 other persons in the cells as we speak, 2 from La Plaine. Let me see if I can get to this last note. And they actually trying to bail 2 as we speak. So Mr. Selwyn Powell is now in police custody. Mr. Ed John Baptist is now in police custody. And another Alvin James is in custody. That's 2 of 3 from La Plaine. So Selwyn Powell, Ed John Baptist, and Alvin James, one of the attorneys, is just reporting to me that there's 3 people now at the cells and being questioned. Of course, at the police headquarters, being questioned as we speak. So they're still picking up people. So keep your gun on. Hello, talk to him on the telephone. Yeah.
Matt, the matter of the Prime Minister's transition, whether he should stay or whether he should move on and go on permanent vacation leave. My mind tells me that matter was settled in November last year.
It was.
In Lakers. Were you there at that conference of the Labour Party?
No, I was at Wesley, the last meeting they had in Wesley, really international airport. That the meeting in Vegas, no, I was not. That was the day after.
And he also, I believe, invited the Grenada Prime Minister and the St. Lucia Prime Minister to witness that particular event.
And they were ringing the bell at the time. You remember that?
Yes, and not one of the members of the executive were trying to challenge Mr. Skerrit.
Not one.
I raised my eyebrow. Not even Nansen tried to put up his name to at least see if he could get the continuation. But no one opposed him. He was unanimously voted by his executive, by the party, unanimously to continue. They say, sir, Pala, you're not going nowhere. You staying right there where you think you're going. And the fellas voted him lock, stock, and barrel. So it seems to me that matter has been settled. Come on, what do you say?
Well, I can tell you, based on my information, there are a lot of people who want to, but simply they are afraid. They are afraid. Remember, I used to, of course, put Mr. Vince Anderson as the poster boy. What has happened to Vince Anderson? What has happened? Of course, he seemed to be the obvious choice. Is he still interested? I don't know. Four 449-3095-96 and 97. The last time I asked Mr. Skerrit the question about, he said he would resign sometime in April 25th. He's now saying let the executive decide. Can you blame him though? When a whole executive is saying, well, when we want you to leave, you'll leave. On the telephone, hello, talk to me.
So Matthew did swallow that.
If I swallow that, I'm saying
Let me say something again. I'm Matt.
Yes.
I followed the interview with the St. Lucian reporter, the lady with Dr. Thompson.
The Grenadian.
No, I follow one in St. Lucia.
Oh, okay, all right. I remember Miss Joseph.
I doesn't wait for it.
Oh, I'm saying Miss Joseph. I'm just answering your question. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I find she was biased, very, very biased. Because all that thing was, but the Prime Minister said that, I didn't like it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 449-3095-96 and 97. Somebody said they had a dream of 3 people bringing him down, so he will never go. And I now see my dream coming true. Let's take a.
Listening to Scary to hear him talk, it's just, I don't know. For a Prime Minister to, I think that was a very good interview. And he had a chance to come clean with the people, but that is what you expect in a democracy. And I notice he likes the word democracy. He likes the word transparency and accountability, But are you practicing that yourself, Mr. Roosevelt Scarrett? Are you practicing that yourself when you are right now, you have to go to court for all the money that's missing in Dominica? We need accountability of the CBI money, what was amazing was he spoke of, when the young lady asked him about, the length of time that he's the Prime Minister of Dominica, and this really is not good for democracy. And he tries to give some explanations and spoke about people working at 18 and retiring at 60 or 65, and after 25 years, people are renewing their vows. And he's saying all of that. But Mr. Roosevelt Scarrett, you now have a new set of parliamentarians. You have a whole set. What did you say, Mr. Scarrett, when you did that? When you did that, what did you say? It was a reset, right? You had a reset in your parliaments. You paid people to become seat warmers at the parliament. They are working on your behalf and not on behalf of the people that they're representing, because the people did not put them there. You did. Okay? So, Mr. Scarrett, but the reset, and because you find that the people, you were upset. You were saying the opposition, they are lazy. But you told the people that they need to go. You said that that's how you win elections. You go to the people, you do house to house. Really, Mr. Scarrett? Really? We could sit down and take this, what you just said, to take everything apart, because you're just not telling the truth. You pressed the reset button. You forgot that. Why didn't you stay with all the other parliamentarians that you had before? You did a reshuffle, right, Mr. Scarrett? I'm just asking you. Accountability and transparency. That's a joke. I'm just saying this afternoon, Matt. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till you fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season.
Insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
All right, somebody's of course speaking on behalf of the Freedom Party, and somebody who of course who knew what was going on. But you know, Scary was telling a lie, because under the Dominican Freedom Party, even your T-shirts you had to buy and pay your own bus to go to the rallies. So this is the person is basically dismissing what Mr. Scary said about the Freedom Party, and that was the response there. 449-3095. I need to get to Cabral Douglas, of course, who spoke in a voice note earlier. I want to share that with you, as he was referring to the interview that was done there in Grenada. Let's see if we can get Mr. Cabral Douglas there. Yes, Cabral Douglas. I think I have you now. Let's see if we can share that with you. Cabral Douglas. To the Prime Minister, who's the representative of the country, speak about his country and about some of the people in his country in such a derogatory manner. I thought it was very un-prime ministerial. I thought it was very low grade, in the sense that he spoke about Thompson Fontaine in a derogatory manner, although they're political adversaries. Thompson Fontaine is an economist. He studied economics and obtained his PhD, and he's a very prominent Dominican outside of Dominica. This is a man whose services have been sought after by regional institutions, including the IMF. Let's see if we can. We'll have to come back to that interview, but just everybody's been trying to get my phone there, so just give me a couple of minutes while we continue doing this one. There. Sorry, caller. Sorry. We have to go back to this interview with Mr. Cabral Douglas. Let's start from the very beginning there, okay? All right, let's do this again one more time. Greetings, all my beautiful Dominican family and friends. This is Cabral Douglas. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the recent interview conducted by Grenadian journalist Clarissa Ferrier with Dominican Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. I must say it was very disheartening and disturbing listening to the Prime Minister, who's the representative of the country, speak about his country and about some of the people in his country in such a derogatory manner. I thought it was very un-prime ministerial. I thought it was very low grade, in the sense that he spoke about Thompson Fontaine in a derogatory manner, although they're political adversaries. Thompson Fontaine is an economist. He studied economics and obtained his PhD, and he's a very prominent Dominican outside of Dominica. This is a man whose services have been sought after by regional institutions, including the IMF, by regional governments inside the Caribbean, to enhance and improve and make suggestions about how to grow their economies. And his services have been sought after all the way in Africa. And I understand that the economy of South Sudan have grown double digits under his advice, which was a tremendous improvement upon previous years. So although you don't necessarily agree with his politics, let's see if we can get a different version at this time. My friend, this is Cabral Douglas. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the recent interview conducted by Grenadian journalist Clarissa Ferrier with Dominican Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. I must say it was very disheartening and disturbing listening to the Prime Minister, who's the representative of the country, speak about his country and about some of the people in his country in such a derogatory manner. I thought it was very un-prime ministerial. I thought it was very low grade, in the sense that he spoke about Thompson Fontaine in a derogatory manner, although they're political adversaries. Thompson Fontaine is an economist. He studied economics and obtained his PhD, and he's a very prominent Dominican outside of Dominica. This is a man whose services have been sought after by regional institutions, including the IMF, by regional governments inside the Caribbean, to enhance and improve and make suggestions about how to grow their economies. And his services have been sought after all the way in Africa. And I understand that the economy of South Sudan have grown double digits under his advice, which was a tremendous improvement upon previous years. So although you don't necessarily agree with his politics, I think as a prime minister, you should speak about sons of the soil and homegrown Dominicans who are prominent, who have achieved success outside of the government of Dominica in a more respectful manner. And when you don't do that, when you fail to do that, you kind of belittle yourself. You kind of shrink yourself
into a smaller person who's petty, and it's not becoming of a prime minister to come across that way. That was one of the more disturbing things that he said. But he also said that money is not important in election campaigns. Nothing could be more ridiculous. Nothing could be more a better example of gaslighting. This government under this prime minister has spent the most money on election campaigns in the history of Dominica. So to suggest that money is not important in a country that is struggling economically, in a country that has the lowest wages in the Caribbean, in a country that has little foreign direct investment to create jobs, and then to go around and spend this millions of dollars on election campaign, it's and then to say that money is not important in election campaign, it's just a ridiculous thing to say, and an extreme example of gaslighting again. To suggest that you're successful in election because of all the work you're doing on the ground, then it wouldn't be necessary to go overseas and bring in all these electors from the diaspora in specific constituencies, because you did admit, after all, that you weren't bringing them into Grand Bay, you weren't bringing them to Portsmouth, you're bringing them into Montjean River Syriac, you're bringing them into La Plaine, you're bringing them into Wesley. These are marginal constituencies that, if not brought in, they would go towards the opposition party. So that's another example of gaslighting. And then to suggest that because married couples, I mean, you're a prime minister and the region is listening to you, everybody's interested in what's happening in Dominica, to come on national, regional, international television and suggest that because married couples renew their vows every 25, 50 years, that you have a right to maintain in office for an unlimited period of time. It shows and exposes your dictatorial tendencies, your tendencies towards a one-party state, and your tendencies to remain in power indefinitely. And I think that's unhealthy for Dominica, unhealthy for democracy, and unhealthy for the Caribbean as well. Because in the Caribbean, we have a proud history of democratic principles and of being able to have what you call a plural society where multiple views and fresh views and new energy comes to the fore in order to be involved in a creative, uplifting process, which doesn't obtain in a situation where it's the same old individual. What, you want to become an old man? You want to retire as the prime minister, which is actually what he suggested in the interview. I thought that looked sad. I thought it looked pathetic. I thought, you make yourself look like you have no future outside of politics, which in fact you probably do. I mean, you're not a PhD like Thompson Fountain, and that's probably why psychologically you feel the need to belittle him, because outside of politics, perhaps your future is not as certain as his is, because he's a professional that has a skill set that's sought after in the world, with or without Dominican politics. And I also thought that some of the statements that he made regarding the protest were also a little bit untrue and belittling as well, in the sense that the protests were only being done to put a black stain on Dominica, and the opposition has an agenda to put a black mark on Dominica. This is coming from a prime minister who has made a name for himself selling diplomatic passports to rogues, criminals, vagabonds around the world, from Russia, from China, from Syria, from Libya. All the names have been printed in the recent Guardian article. We haven't forgot about Francesco Corallo. We haven't forgot about MZ Lapsing. We haven't forgot about Ali Reza Monferred. These are criminals that are in jail today as a result of receiving diplomatic passports from the Prime Minister of Dominica that has posed a threat to the regional and international security architecture, to the extent that the British government has suspended visa-free access for Dominicans. That is the definition, that is the epitome of putting a black stain on the people and the reputation and the integrity of Dominica. And so to suggest that it's somebody else other than you that is doing that is an extreme example of gaslighting once again. So I just wanted to highlight some of the key features of the interview. I also wanted to reiterate that it's time for this prime minister to go. And I also wanted to state that amnesty can be obtained for the prime minister if in any way he's concerned about getting arrested for any of the above criminal scenarios that have been mentioned. I would expect that a deal can be made, amnesty can be granted on the condition that he steps down. And I think that's a road that he should pursue. He has lawyers, he has advisors, and I think they should start the discussions on that so Dominic can start fresh, move in a different direction, the same Labour Party could appoint a leader, and the country could move forward to a prosperous future. This is Cabral Douglas, giving my 2 cents on the recent interviews by Roosevelt Scarrett. I thank you very much for listening to me, and bye for now.
All right, the son of the late Rosie Douglas, Cabral Douglas, his name. The Prime Minister told journalists that he wins elections because he does house-to-house campaign. But Matt, it would be great if the journalists had asked him how can the opposition go from house to house when he told them to throw hot water on them if they come to do their house to house, huh? Interesting. Interesting observation. Someone is saying, well said, Carol, well said. There needs to be more like you, Carol. Coming there on WhatsApp. Hello, talk to me, yes? Uh-huh.
Yeah, good afternoon, Junior.
Good afternoon to you, Senior. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Other than these nasty words by my Prime Minister, I'm good. Matt, I want to use this opportunity to make a point regards, what Roosevelt Scarrett addresses and who he addresses and how he addresses.
Okay.
Matt, for the last 15 to 20 years, this conversation in Dominica by the decision makers has been a conversation between Roosevelt Scarrett and the United Workers' Party. It hasn't been a conversation between the citizenry. Every action that Roosevelt Scarrett takes, he bases it on his relationship with the United Workers' Party, whether he can beat them at it or he above them above it. And as long as that happens, he has a right to. He doesn't involve us in the equation, Matt. The citizenry of Dominica are not involved in this equation, and that's problematic. And so, Matt, I want to ask the media, I want to ask you also, Matt, you also. So, let us give a more civic response to these things that are happening in our country, Matt. Let us stop thinking that it's just a political response, that it is just some defined entity. Because we, the citizenry, we are not getting involved in the decision-making process. And that is part of the problem, bro. So, this brother, I listened to him, it exemplified that exactly in that conversation. He thinks that as long as he organizes this thing in the House, the interests of the people and national consensus of the nation is never addressed. He never answers to any one of the citizenry. He answers to the United Workers' Party. He answers them on their deficiencies, and then he writes it over with his laughter. He never addresses our problems. You understand? And I'm just asking media and you and Q95. I don't expect it from Kyrie to change because they love the UWP conversation. It distracts everybody else. But please, let us start responding to the government from a more citizenry consensus, Matt. Let us make that effort, please, from broader dimensions, the theological, the others, the business. Let us look for responses.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. 2:43 is the afternoon time. Let's see if we can take another voice. So this time from Mr. Leonard Matthew, who's been, of course, always sharing his comment there when he has the time. Mr. Leonard Matthew.
Matilde, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
Matilde, we have to get this fight to continue. The fight for the restoration of democracy in Dominica. The fight to remove the con artists and the dictator we have allowed to permeate through our society. Like some of your colors, some of your messages, the Roosevelt Scarrett's definition of Thompson Fontaine is characteristic of a man who has nothing else substantial. Let's analyze who Dr. Thompson Fontaine is and who Roosevelt Scarrett is as men who have done some accomplishment before they get into politics. Dr. Thompson Fontaine did not buy his PhD. He actually worked at the IMF. The IMF is a world-leading institution, saw his value and was able to employ him. And he quit that to make the sacrifice to come back home. And he doesn't have to be in Dominica for him to earn a living. He doesn't have to abuse the people of Dominica to earn a living. He doesn't have to abuse the young men and women of Dominica to earn a living, because he has proven that by going to some of the worst places in the world, example South Sudan, which the Prime Minister himself acknowledged, to help build that country. And everybody knows Sudan was in a civil war. Country of about 80 plus million people. Here it is a gentleman who is calling him and trying to debase him, was a teacher. My secondary school English teacher at the age of 19. So I knew him before he got into politics. A man who cannot have a conversation with you and watch you in your eyes. And I'm not making this up, I'm telling you. This guy cannot have a conversation with you and watch you in your eyes because he is innately dishonest in everything he utters. A guy who cannot speak the truth at no point, even when he's recorded, he doesn't remember how he's lying to the public. A guy who goes to India and gets an honorary PhD, paid for it as a matter of fact, in some obscure university in some corner of the world, and coming back to Dominica having people call him doctor. Can't you guys see this is a psychopath? Can't you guys see this as an individual who cares nothing about anybody? He goes and he calls Spags Gatiwas. He called the coconut man a useless human being. And now he debases one of the guys who have shown what it is to come from nothing and build himself on the international scale, which is Dr. Thompson Fountain. I have never met Dr. Thompson Fountain, but I know Roosevelt Skerritt, the guy who taught me at the Portsmouth Secondary School when he was 19 years. And I'm telling you, this guy has no interest in anybody but himself because he has proved it over and over again. His interview with the Grenadian lady shows that there is something sinister going on within this individual to look at people who have some substance and value and who challenges him. And if he can think of that of Dr. Thompson Fountain, how do you think he think of the people who support and vote him? How do you think he think of them? I know because in anybody who is honest will try to uplift young people. Anybody who is honest will try to make people independent, to be able to earn on their own, to be able to live on their own, buy their own homes. But instead what we see is a man abusing the loyalty of Dominicans for his own glorification. Matt Peltier, I'm going to end like this as I always do. Roosevelt Skerritt has proven that he's the greatest instability in the Caribbean. He's proven to be a threat not just to us, but to himself. And he needs to be removed from office. If he doesn't walk away, he needs to be removed by force. This is a warning to us as a people that we have seen the deviance of the individuals in office, and he has to be removed from office. You know who I am, I'm not hiding, and by force if necessary.
He doesn't mix his words there, boy. Mr. Lennon Matthew from the community of Benz. Somebody says Tiani was like Cabral, well spoken until he sold out. Tiani, guess you should take a message from your brother. Somebody's trying to indicate there. Let's take another message there, of course, from somebody in the diaspora. I think Latricia Cadet. Let's listen for a little while.
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to
Matt,
you.
I don't know what part of that interview had truth in it, eh? But I listened to Skerritt give an account of 2017, what transpired outside the parliament. Mad boy Skerritt can't lie. Since when Skerritt have inside information into what people are thinking? Skerritt said people's intention was to jump the wall and take the mace, and people were trying to jump into the president yard. Ebe Skerritt, uni efobasio Skerritt. You are truly the devil, because it's only the devil that know everything that's going to transpire, because Ah, Because I can't. What part of that interview had truth in it? Skerrit is calling for accountability. Matt, you know who Skerrit was talking about? J.I., you know your partner just throw you under the bus because up to now you owing me, and we know you got paid to pay me. So Skerrit just throw you under the bus there, you know. I suspect that is what Skerrit was talking about. He just didn't want to come out and say is you J.I. So since me and you know is you he talking about, you know, let's do business. But hey, that reporter was really good for Skerrit. But because Skerrit couldn't use his usual tactics of laughing and making a big joke out of everything, you know. And so at the end of the day, he tried to spin it, and it just couldn't work because all he did was just put holes in the bottom of his boat. Skerrit kept doing those nonsense because nobody in Dominica doesn't challenge Skerrit. If this protest had gone on beyond 2 days, because we have a problem in Dominica, Matt. We recognize if we do everything we're doing in Dominica is 8 days, and then we make Skerrit narrates the whole situation. Skerrit bring up the part about accountability, and we're going to take that and run with it because we have to question the UWP. So many years we've been asking about CBI money. Nobody's going to take that and make a big charade out of it. But you see that little thing he say about UWP haven't got accountability, we're going to take it and run with it. It's the same way Skerrit used the Mr. Paris. And we're going to make a big fuss about it because you know what? Everybody have to be against one man because nobody else makes mistakes and have to account for those mistakes. Skerrit can make all the mistakes in the world. After 8 days, we let him off the hook with for a matter of fact, not even a smack on the wrist. It's a kiss on the lips. But we have to drag Mr. Paris down. The other day, I heard somebody call and talk about, it's two factions, and Skerrit used exactly those words in the UWP. But when I listened to Mr. Thompson Fountain speaking to the same young lady, Matt, I heard one party and a man standing behind his political leader. But those of all you that in the party, all you're not even part of the executive, is all you that will come on the radio and say all the nonsense you all don't even have evidence about. Skerrit and his boys stand with one another. We know that well because Reginald Austri told us they were standing behind Blackmore. But you UWP people, all you believe, all you have to tear each other apart, pull out the crab legs, pull out the Gandhi. And that is what makes you all great. But are you not looking at holding each other's back and being accountable? Yes. But nonetheless, not coming on there and tearing each other down. All of us cannot be against Delbert Paris. Somebody has to stand up for him because give all you Dominicans a chance, or you will eat him from the inside out like cool boy. So I was happy to hear Mr. Fountain talk about, those things happen. But at the same time, we cannot kill him and crucify him just to make ourselves feel better. Or for us to go ahead with Skerrit's narrative. Skerrit is the one directing all talk in Dominica. And if we don't stop him, he will never be stopped. So let's forget about, we know Skerrit just go on that program and just lie through his teeth. Let's give that a break. And let's hold him accountable for the missing millions from the CBI. Let's hold him accountable for standing behind his police, even if he knows the police were brutalizing Dominicans. Because this gentleman, the police hit from the back of his head, he wasn't a threat to nobody, especially a big, tough, big chest policeman eating chicken breast. So let me see where we go from here, Dominica. The real question is here, where do we go from here? Because we know Skerrit ain't stepping down, he ain't stepping aside, he ain't resigning, not for nothing. And Skerrit tell all you already, it is bloodshed that will take him out there. So let me see what Ollie will do. If Ollie will just let this pass after 8 days and continue business as usual. Because as far as I can see, he's the judge, jury, and execution, and Judge Dredd at that. After that.
And we can wake up. Open up your eyes.
Dominicans, wake up.
Your country needs you. Hope you realize our government is abusing its power and authority. And if it's happening,
We have another 5 minutes to go.
the whole country.
Hello, talk to me. Yes,
Matt, I'm wondering if a lawyer could listen to that interview carefully and see Roosevelt Skerrit crossed the line and he could be held accountable in a court of law. I wasn't sure, but to me I heard something that he could be brought, because remember your $5,000 case, your salary?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he may have crossed that line, Matt. And I think whoever he crossed the line against should take him to court. Enough said.
All right. Somebody says we should do a fact-checking exercise against this interview.
Caught up with them, they are facing in some of the problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise.
A simple question becomes a book, huh? Lennon just nailed it.
The handwriting is on the wall.
Somebody says, boy, it's scary, can twist the story, huh? On the telephone, hello, yes, talk to me.
Yeah, Matt, just quickly, a few seconds. Matt, is a lucky thing I'm not a member of UWP, yeah, Matt? So I'm free to run my mouth. And Matt, the analogy Skerrit used about marriage, Matt. You know what it says, Matt, the vows of marriage, Matt? For better or for worse. Until death.
Until death do us part, yes.
So, Melissa Popon Skerrit, I am asking you, can you please volunteer your Navy SEALs and your snipers, my dear? Thank you, sir.
Forward to have no money. Why? Living luxury. I don't family and the prime minister. And then you would find the Antigua. It is only time for the self-destruct. Freedom power is the TNT. The purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All these scheming, conniving plans are caught up with them. They are facing in some amount of the problems. And just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall.
On the telephone, hello, yes, we get off about what? 2 more minutes before we wrap it up and go to our friends at Flow. Hello, talk to me. Good morning.
Just spoke a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was sharing some voice notes with my friends after the incident of the parliament and concerning Delbert and what happened. And exactly everything that woman said is exactly what is going on among us. Exactly, I can go back on my voice note and even send it. Exactly what she said, and that is what is happening to us. We cry down our people, we do so many things, look at so many lies we tell, and we're going to run on the radio now. Because right away, even you, I realize, you're already calling for them to clarify what he said, and that is what is happening. Before Skerrit says something, we on the radio crying down our people. Crying down our people. Labor right and carry down that they cry and cry down the people. They can do whatever they want and they will cover everything. But we quick to cry down our people. I did go that I will never call at this radio station. But I just have to call it. Because I already hear you asking for them to come and clarify that.
Of course, and we ask everybody to clarify, don't we?
Yes.
Don't we?
But then we cry down our people too much.
I don't know about crying down. I'm asking the question about transparency, and I'm sure the United Workers Party is quite capable and making the point. That's why I said about what about transparency as it relates to the $8 or $9 million. If we're asking one side questions, I guess me, I'll ask all sides. Okay. And that's what you call transparency. I'm not taking one side over another, okay? Leave that for public relations. I'm not in the business of public relations, okay?
I have the thoughts, but not here for me. Ask God and Marshall, look what I did to Percy. He was standing in the way of my daughter's beauty.
You can ask the question to the United Workers' Party as it relates to accountability. You should be able to ask Mr. Skerritt. I think Brian made the point earlier. Brian Linton, let me see if I can get to that. Let me see if I can play Brian's voice note this time. Yeah?
Comment there from Derek with respect to the accountability of campaign money for workers that accuse the United Workers' Party leaders of keeping money that they raise for campaigning, keeping it for themselves. You know, it is the reasoning we can use, or we should use with respect to our missing billions that he cannot give account for. He cannot account for our missing billions because he and Hayden thieving our missing billions and keeping it for themselves. So that is why up till now, he cannot come and give a proper accounting of our missing billions to tell us where all our missing billions is. He cannot give us an account of that. Okay? And he cannot do that because he, according to his reasoning, he is keeping that money for himself. Out of his own mouth. Out of his own mouth comes his condemnation with respect to our missing billions. Our missing billions, we cannot get it because Skerritt and his friends, according to Skerritt himself, according to his reasoning, they're keeping that money for themselves. Thank you, Roosevelt. Damn thief.
At least Brian understands. Need transparency on all sides.
It is only time for the self-destruct. Freedom power is the TNT.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try my very best this week and on the interview of Dr. Thompson Fontaine.
All this stealing, conniving plans are caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall.
This event is brought to you by Two Contagious Entertainment and Elite Productions. Stay connected at Two Contagious ENT at Elite Prod Inc. We can't wait to see you there. Aura awaits you.
Talk about junk, we going non-stop.
Floni en magasin neuf à Siwoul. Iwive, eve pawe pour mener service bao. Nous te promettons, innovation, eve nous ka deliver à présent. Boutique Flo à Siwoul. Pawe pour mener bao, bon qualité service, eve produit ou sa tape à plus gros magasin Flo. Si vous voulez gagner un portable neuf, ou registrer pour un service neuf, fait en plainte, ou bien payer en bill, ou bien simplement marquer en chection, ou ça fait tout ça. Côté magasin Flo à Siwoul. Comme ça, les oué magasin Flo à Siwoul en communauté ou bien en la ouïa, pas paix. Vini pour quitter travailler Flo ba au bon service professionnel. Magasin Flo à Siwoul. N'importe place, n'importe l'air. Ka vini à palapotu. Flo ka vini tout de suite. À dans en l'occasion tout poué.
The new Flow Store on Wheels is here and ready to serve you. We promised you innovation and we have delivered. The Flow Store on Wheels is equipped to provide all the great products and services available at our Flow Experience Center. If you want to purchase the latest smartphones, sign up for a new service, log a fault, pay a bill, or simply make an inquiry, you can do it all at our Flow Store on Wheels. Now that's what you call full service on wheels. So when you You see our Flow Store on Wheels in your community or on your street? Don't be shy. Stop by and let our professional team serve you. The new Flow Store on Wheels, convenience and reliability at your doorstep. Coming soon to a location near you.
You an easy way to pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
2 minutes and you're on your way.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
Flow is going green. As Flow continues to enhance its services and communication with you, the company announces a transition from paper to electronic bills from October 1st, 2024. With Flow e-bills, customers will receive billing information securely and conveniently without any interruptions. From October 1st, enjoy faster and efficient delivery. No more waiting for postal delivery. 24/7 access. Access your bill online anytime. Maintaining an eco-friendly environment. Reduce paper clutter. Convenient payment options. Pay via MyFlow app directly from the link in the email. Flow customers who are new to e-billing should provide or update their personal contact information with a valid email address. To ensure your personal contact information is up to date, visit any Flow store. Contact customer care at any time. Toll free at 1-800-804-2994 or visit discoverflow.co. Flow is keeping you connected.